paper over here, so I don't want to be laying on side of you.
All right. The regular meeting of the mayor and the city council, city of Port Island Days, Wednesday, September the 8th, 2021. It's 5:37 p.m. Masks must be worn inside public buildings. Each person must decide before they enter the chamber which agenda item they wish to be commented on. If they are not to be seated in the chamber when the agenda item is heard, they will be notified by an officer to enter the chamber, council chambers to address that agenda item. Agenda, please silence all electronic devices. Call to order. Everyone stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Lacy. Agenda item 3, roll call.
Brown.
Here.
Ms. Gordon.
Present.
Hubble.
Here.
Ms. Lacy.
Here.
Mr. Riviere.
Here. Thank you. Agenda item 4, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of August 11th, 2021.
Second.
I got a motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Brown. Any objections? Hearing none. Agenda item 5, public comments. Comments from the public are allowed in accordance with the Louisiana Revised Statute 42:11, Section 2 through 34, and specifically limited to an agenda item to be considered during the meeting. 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic. No one sign up? All right. Agenda item 6, consider authorizing Mayor Lee to promote Calvin Skelton from part-time labor to full-time labor 1 to fill vacant position in the Roads and Drainage Department. Council, as we spoke earlier at the committee meeting, Mr. Skelton is one of our student workers who worked through the summer. And according to Mr. Bass, he was here at the last meeting. He was an excellent hire, and he wants a full-time position. We had that position vacant, and we would like to promote him to that full-time position.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I got a motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilwoman Lacy. Any objections? Hearing none?
Brown.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Hubble.
Yes.
Ms. Lacy.
Yes.
Mr. Riviere.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 7, consider authorizing Mayor Lee to advertise for 2 part-time labor 1 positions in the Roads and Drainage Department. And Council, what this is each year, about this time of the year, due to the growth of the grass and the shrubberies, we hire temporary service to finish that process. And as Mr. Bass spoke at last meeting, that is a necessity, and he appreciates the assistance that y'all will.
I'll make a motion for that.
Second that one too.
Yes, it's still the end of the year, which would be the last part of December. December 31st is from. It's 28 hours per week as part-time workers. And at the pay of $11 an hour.
Mayor, can I ask a question? I guess I should have asked at the last meeting. Instead of we doing 2, did y'all ever think about hiring 3 or 4 with the extent of the grass cutting for the part-time?
Yeah, I mean, we base that on the amount of money that we spent. Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Ms. Gordon, your motion was per the recommendations of the mayor, 2 part-time positions going to December 31st, 2021, full-time at $11 per hour, each employee working a maximum of up to 48 hours a week.
Yes.
That's your motion.
Okay, I got a motion by Councilman Gordon, second by Councilman.
Yes.
All right. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Lacy?
Yes.
Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 8, consider authorizing Mayor Lee to hire Marcus Williams to fill a vacancy in the sewer department. And council, we had an interview. We had 4 applicants, 3 showed up. And Mr. Marcus Williams, he does have experience, and he has part of his class operating 1 license, and that's a benefit to us. And at this time, we would like to make that recommendation to hire him for that position, that operator trainee in the sewer department.
Okay, I guess that's me. I'll make a motion for the hiring of Marcus Williams.
I got a motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Riviere. Any objections? Hear none?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 9, acknowledge receipt of $877,104.90 as the first installment of the American Rescue Plan Act Fund. And council, what this is the federal funds. You want to explain?
As part of the, first, good evening. As part of the American Rescue Act plan, the city was awarded a little over $1.5 million, I'm sorry, $1.7 million. And it's being dispersed in 2 tranches per the act. The first installment has been received in the amount of $877,104.90. That money comes with certain parameters. You can only use it for economic development, sewer or water projects, which is our intention. And some other items which we don't really need to consider because we're not involved in those types of services. That said, the money is in hand, and we are currently planning meetings with our engineers to see the best use of those funds to improve our sewer system.
Lance, with that money, like what you said about it having to be, meet certain parameters, strings attached, are we going to open up a separate dedicated account just for that, so it doesn't get...
Tangled into.
Well, there are extensive reporting requirements and tracking requirements. I would defer to finance as to whether or not we need a separate account, but I know that those funds will be separately accounted for to the penny.
So these funds will be used towards enhancing our current sewer system or going towards maybe another
Well,
development?
as you know, we have intentions of exploring the construction of a new wastewater treatment facility, so.
Could they be used towards the securing of the land also, or just, look like all that should be?
Well, we're working our way through the directives. What I can say is that anything that's considered sewer infrastructure improvement is eligible, and acquiring land for a new facility, I would imagine, would be considered part of the infrastructure, so we would definitely explore that possibility. But the mayor has indicated that we set a meeting up with our engineer, Mr. Archon, who is here, and if you have some questions for him, feel free. But we plan to have a discussion and see what the best use of those funds would be. We expect another $877,000 in a year, and the money has to be spent by incurred by December 2024, and actually used by December 2026. So there is, because the sewer infrastructure projects take longer, they did take into consideration that in expanding the time period so that extensive construction projects can be considered. So we have the funding. We're going to talk to the engineers and build a plan for the best use of those funds.
I'd like to see it go on a separate account when I found out about this, to make sure that it doesn't go in just a general fund. And I know you said 2024 and 2026, and it's my understanding that if we are incumbent, if we have something that we're contracted to, that can be extended. If we're if we already pull the trigger and we're contracted into something, we can go a little bit longer.
Well, my understanding of the parameters are that any project that was incurred, or any debt associated with a sewer infrastructure project that was incurred as of March 3rd, 2021, through December 31st of 2024, you have to have committed the funds by that time, and you have to actually spend them by December 2026. I'm not sure if there's any, as this act is currently in place, if you don't spend the money by December of 2026, you are supposed to return it. So there are, I guess, certain, considerations where the state can extend the sending the money out, but as far as spending it and obligating yourself to spending it, those dates are pretty concrete.
I think that priority in the city should be the sewer system, and I just think that that's where it should be focused on.
That is priority.
And let's don't forget about, I don't want to be a hard one, a back truck or a back unit of some kind. We can use it all over the city year round. Sewer, drainage, two of the main issues that run up against sometimes.
That's what we
Well, I would love to have a back truck, but my understanding of this particular program is limited to infrastructure. And your projects have to either comply with the Clean Water Act or drainage and so improvements. So while a back truck would be very helpful, I don't think it qualifies. But I think we do have significant infrastructure needs that we'll be able to use the funds in the best, most prudent manner.
Having these extra funds, maybe that will free us up to.
But indeed, absolutely, yes.
Existing.
It's very helpful to not have to come up with this amount on your own. So whatever we need to do, we'll take care of.
Lance, I want you to give us some updates on that. And now that the money is on the wood and it's just not in the wind, like I know you're gonna do what needs to be done to try to expedite this and
I think our meeting
make sure
is
that.
Tuesday? It's Tuesday? It's Tuesday. So we're meeting with the engineers on Tuesday.
Okay. I'm excited that under this administration, I may see that go forward.
No further questions? Thank you.
Second.
That's nothing to vote on.
Okay, just ignore,
I don't
okay.
think you need to vote on that.
Hey, my bad, no, bro.
Agenda item 10. Agenda item 10. Consider accepting the recommendation of PEC to award the effluent pump installation to the lowest bidder, Spinks Construction, for $14,790.
Thank you,
Paul?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is hopefully the end of the effluent pump station work. Essentially, if y'all recall, we bought one pump and had it installed on an emergency basis. These two pumps, the city has purchased the two pumps, and all this contractor is doing is installing them. And we took 3 bids. The lowest bid was submitted by Spinks Construction, St. Francisville. Their bid was $14,790. We've done a lot of work with them. We recommend that y'all award that project to them.
Motion, whatever. Is there any update on the 8th Street issue with the
Temporary pump,
barricaded on? I mean, I had passed on 8th Street today.
it's still there.
They pulled the pump and they're waiting on the specs to order the new pump. They're waiting on the quote.
Second.
I got a motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Brown. Any objections? Hear none?
Brown,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
Hubble,
Yes.
Lacy.
Yes.
Riviere.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Agenda item 11, public hearing to obtain views regarding the adoption of an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget in the City of Port Allen Sewer and Water Fund to authorize the purchase of an Itron meter reader, handheld equipment, and accompanying software due to the termination of support for the current software by the vendor. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? No one wish to be heard? We'll close the public comment. Agenda item 12, consider adoption of an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021 to 2022 City of Port Allen Sewer and Water Fund budget, and to authorize the purchase of an Archon reader, handheld equipment, and accompanying software due to the termination of support for the current software by the vendor. Ordinance number 12 of 2021, Ms. Rose, read it.
Ordinance number 12 of 2021, an ordinance of the City of Port Allen, State of Louisiana, providing for an amendment to the budget for the City of Port Allen to the Sewer and Water Fund for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021, and ending June 30, 2022, and provide for related matters.
And Council, if you look in your files, you have the quote for that Itron device, and the total is $19,650. Last she got for the. Sir, got a motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Brown. Any objections? Hearing none.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Agenda item 13, public hearing to obtain views regarding the adoption of an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021 to 2022 budget in the City of Port Allen General Fund, Water and Gas Fund, and Sewer Fund to cover the costs associated with upgrading the City of Port Allen's email system. And does anyone from the public wish to be heard on this agenda item? No one answered. We'll close the public hearing. Agenda item 14, consider adoption of an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021 to 2022 City of Port Allen budget in the General Fund, Water and Gas Fund, and the Sewer Fund to cover the costs associated with upgrading the City of Port Allen's email system. Ordinance number 13 of 2021. Ms. Roche?
Ordinance number 13 of 2021. An ordinance of the City of Port Allen, State of Louisiana, providing for an amendment to the budget for the City of Port Allen and the General Fund, Water and Gas Fund, and Sewer Fund for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021, and ending June 30, 2022, and to provide for related matters.
I move.
Got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Riviere. Any objections? Hearing none.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Lacy?
Yes.
Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Agenda item 15, public hearing to obtain views regarding the adoption of a resolution setting the millage rates for the tax year 2021 for all properties subject to Aveyron taxes within the City of Port Allen, Louisiana. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on this agenda item? No one responding. We'll close the public hearing. Agenda item 16, adoption of a resolution setting the millage rates for the tax year 2021 for all properties subject to taxation within the City of Port Allen in the following manner. Mr. Clerk?
Okay, this is a continuation, it's not a new rate, but it's a continuation of my understanding, and it relates to the Aveyron taxes. And as you can see, this is something that we've done in prior years. General alimony is 7.180 mil, police department 5.020 mils. Originally, it was approved by tax proposition election held October 19, 1985 for a period of 10 years beginning with 1986 and renewed by voters through a special election held October 21, 1995 for a period of 10 years beginning with the 1996 and again renewed by voters through a special election held on January 15, 2005 for a period of 10 years beginning with 2006 and again renewed by voters through a special election held on November 21st, 2015 for a period of 10 years beginning with 2016.
Move.
Got a motion by Councilman Riviere.
Second.
Got a second by Councilman Hubble. Any objection? Hearing none?
Brown?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Ms. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 17, consider authorizing surplus destination of the following property to be disposed of according to the law. A John Deere backhoe, serial number T0410 Echo X-ray 890536. A tire changer, a tire machine, model number R Romeo 980 XX-ray R Romeo. 4 Chevrolet Impalas, VINs number, also model year 2009, serial number 2 G George 1 W, Whiskey SM 57M, Mary 191303955, model year 2010, and all three of them, the VIN number is going to be 2 G George 1 W Whiskey Union 5 E Edward M Mary 5 A Alpha 113716. VIN number 2 G George 1 W Whiskey F Frank 52 E Edward 149369467, and 2 G George 1 W Whiskey S Sam 57 M Mary 5913033666, and 1 Ford Crown Victoria, VIN number 2 F Frank A Alpha F Frank P Paul 71 V Victor 78 XX-ray 141465. These items are surplus at this particular time, and we ask that you do it in global.
Move.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Any objections? Hearing none?
Brown?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Hubble?
Yes.
Lacy?
Yes.
Ms. Riviere?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, agenda item 18, discuss complaints concerning recycling and garbage pickup with the Republic Service. I think we have a representative from the Republic, Steve Smith.
Yes, sir.
It's easier every other month now, like a kid in the principal.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Steve?
Do y'all want to ask questions? Do you want me to just kind of jump in, or I'll just jump in?
What you here
As-
for?
I'm sorry?
What are you here for? What are you here for?
Republic Services.
I know.
I like the enlightened attitude. It's good. As we all know, this area, South Louisiana, experienced a Category 4 hurricane. Life-altering event for numerous people all over the place. We're not immune to it. Didn't happen. Tuesday morning after the storm, 95% of our employees had lost power, but we were running. We had trucks on the street Tuesday after the storm. I can promise you not every waste removal company in this area can say the same thing. We were running. Our management team locally, in addition to securing hotel rooms, which we've since lost, but generators We had fuel brought to our facility for our employees. We gave them 5 gallons of fuel a day for their vehicles to get to and from work, so they didn't have to go stand in line for 3 hours or whatever it was, and additional fuel to run the generators at their homes and things of that nature. Also, we brought food trucks to the yard. We fed them. We wanted our employees to get to work and get in your communities and operate safely, and that helped. Now, if it solved everything, I wouldn't be standing right here. But rest assured, we are doing everything that we can with what we have in this terrain that we're dealing with right now. I don't know what else I can say. It's not easy. This is what we do for a living. We're not running from it. We take it serious. But if we can't operate safely and do the right things and do it environmentally sound and everything like that, we can't do it. But we are running our trucks on the street, so.
Okay. Well, the problem we have, Mr. Smith, is the fact that this has been, it's not an issue what's going on with the storm. This has been an ongoing issue with Republic for the last several months, and it hasn't stopped. Each month there's always an issue. Sure enough, there were some issues during the storm, and we appreciate the help that y'all did provide. But then we took an initiative to go ahead, because the communication I had with y'all was that you had to wait until FEMA declared this a disaster area before y'all can, I guess, put in y'all contract for debris pickup for the storm. So what we did was we went on and hired a company because we didn't want our trash sitting out in the road for weeks, which right now Baton Rouge just finally starting to pick up theirs after a week after the storm had passed. We have just about finished picking up all the branches. The thing I had with Republic was, the discussion I had was that y'all were gonna pick up the bags and the other trash other than the tree branches that was left on the side of the road, and that hasn't been done. Today, it's been a week since the storm. Y'all did pick up some of the trash debris, but y'all still haven't picked up the bags of trash on the curb. We have, like I said, picked up all the branches. Unfortunately, we had a breakdown today, and we can continue that service tomorrow. We should be complete through the city of Port Allen. But there were several complaints as far as this past Saturday, when over 3/4 of the city garbage wasn't picked up. And currently, the recycle is on hold because of something that happened at one of your facilities. Yes. And they're like 2 weeks behind. So the people were instructed just to leave the carts to the edge of the road, but we hadn't heard anything since then. And my thing to them was to, go ahead and, if you weren't gonna pick it up this Wednesday, was to go ahead and put it in the regular trash to be disposed of, because Republic didn't give them an extra can, because some of them got more. From what I'm hearing, they got almost 2 cans of recycled stuff that needs to be thrown away. They don't have nowhere else to put it.
Right.
And y'all didn't offer another can or anything else for them to put in. The other cans are already full. So their only option is to go ahead and put it in the trash. But I know that's not an option for y'all, because you want to be environmental safe. But they have to do something. Other than that, we hoping for some type of solution that Republic can give to each one of the council members here, and also to the citizen, that these missed pickups could actually come to an end. Because another thing was this past, y'all missed Saturday, but you couldn't pick up Sunday, but then you ended up picking up Monday. And when you ran your route Monday, you still left out a whole subdivision. You left out Key Biscayne, Key Largo, and 1590 Court Street. And then I called, I think, Mr. LC, and they picked it up the next morning. But you still got people, and that was upset that the trash wasn't picked up since Saturday.
Sure.
And then you got to pick up the next day, which is today. So, I mean, there's a lot of frustration going around that these little hiccups, can't continue to happen. And that's what we're here to address with Republican at this particular time.
Mr. Steve, and also, I was going through my phone trying to find out a text from the mayor, and y'all was stating that that the governor and the president put y'all on hold or something. Why was that something you sent to us? I was trying to find my email, my text from the mayor. But, I mean, why did y'all just text the mayor about that when he complained? If y'all serving so many community and parishes, that seemed like something that y'all would have got on television and explained to your customers that the president or the governor put y'all on hold until further notice or wherever the circumstance was.
I'm not 100% certain. I mean, I know the president, the governor declared this a disaster area, or...
Yeah, he's going to explain. It was reference to the president and the governor declaring this parish a
Right,
storm.
but if they wasn't gonna pick up for us, it seemed like you should have addressed that to the mayor immediately. You only addressed it to him when he started complaining about the pickup. That should have been something that was, if they told you all that, you should have sent to us. You say y'all was gonna call the council. I don't know if you called any of us, but I know I didn't receive a phone call about the situation. So I'm just saying that, like, again, it's like a communication. It's like that you all don't care about this little city because you're not informing us. If the mayor was not complaining, the mayor would never known about the hold from the president or the governor that they put the mandate on you guys. So, I mean, it's just like, damn if you do with us, damn if you don't. Leave your trash out, leave if you don't. So, I mean, like, you not respecting our citizens. They calling us, they not calling you guys. Just like the man came and put the trash on the step here. I still say he should have brought it to you guys. We don't pick it up. They paying y'all to pick it up, not us. So if he was gonna throw trash, he should have took it to Republic, not to the city hall. So you getting our constituents upset with us, but we don't have no answer because we don't know anything. And the mayor sent us that text out, and I'm like, well, wow, the mayor just finding this out? So we all in the dark, and our citizens think we covering up for you guys. But we're really not, because we really don't know anything. So we can't cover up for you, and I want y'all to know this. We're not covering up for Republic, because we don't know nothing from Republic, because no one's communicating with us.
And I think the biggest problem I have here is that when you out doing a service, why not do it completely? What is happening where one portion is being picked up, the other portion is not being picked up, part of the community is being picked up, the other half of the city, like, what is up with that? And this is parish-wide. And it probably could go even further, I mean, with this taking place. I'm really concerned about that. Like, the workers just decide, hey, that's all we're gonna do today. Let's just take it on. We'll finish this route later. Like, how does that process go? That you can come on my street and totally miss my neighbor across the street, around on the next street. That's just not acceptable. And then when we get to money, these people is really aggravated, and I'm understanding, their frustration. I think we've been kind of kicking this can down the road as much as we could, but it has to come to a stop. They are paying for a service, and they do deserve to have those services rendered. And at some point, somebody should think about something, as in money. Like, you pay for service. Who pick up your trash? Who pick up your trash?
East Baton Rouge Parish.
No, what
Company?
Yes.
Republic through East Baton Rouge, yes, ma'am.
Your trash was picked up?
Ma'am?
Was your trash picked up? Have your trash been picked up consistently?
To be honest with you, no. I got a pile of limbs sitting in my front yard right now, waiting on the emergency contractor to get to it.
That should really, really bother you. Doesn't
Pardon?
that bother you?
Ma'am, I consider myself very fortunate what I just went through. A lot of people have lost their lives and lost their structures, and I lost power, and I got some limbs in my front yard. It doesn't bother me that much. I mean, I understand the frustration that people have. I'm not ignoring that. You're asking me as an individual. It doesn't, But I understand that some people it does. And look, this isn't what we like to do at all, by any stretch of the imagination.
So if you're paying for a service that's not being rendered, I want to hear the solution to this, because now I'm beginning to want to look at the contract and to see where we standing at with the contract, because something must be done. Like, we just can't continue to go on like this. Money is hard to come by. People have been in a pandemic, and they're paying their bills faithfully, and they're not getting any type of refunds, any type of discounts, and nobody's talking about it. But I think y'all should start talking about it, because it shouldn't be our responsibility. Look like some money should be coming from Republic saying, look, we're gonna reimburse the city or something. It's getting past just picking up the trash now, or not picking up the trash. It's about money. And
Yes, ma'am.
people, money just seem like it's going to waste. So that's what I want to hear about the reasons for them not picking up in certain areas, and let's talk about these people's money. That's what I'm concerned about.
Councilwoman Lacy.
How you doing?
I'm the operation manager. So I'm the operation manager for public service. So I'm in charge of the supervisors and all the drivers and getting trucks from point A to point B. So
Come to the microphone. What's your name?
LC. LC Parker, right? So one of the things that Steve was alluding to with last week is that I have a staff of 300. Last week, 95% of them had no power. And on Tuesday, 50% of them didn't show up. But we were privy to not having, to have that natural disaster declared until we didn't run the out-of-cart brush routes, right? But by the time that we got to Friday, the 50% of my staff that actually reported from Tuesday through Friday didn't have enough hours to cover Port Allen. My two Port Allen drivers, one still don't have power, the other one didn't receive power till Monday of this week. So I had to rely on my three drivers from Ascension Parish to come through here on the end of their routes on Saturday to get as much as they could get. And those three drivers did 25% of Port Allen on Saturday. On Sunday, those three drivers couldn't work on Sunday again for me because of DOT hours, right? And then on Monday, like I said, those two Port Allen drivers, one of them returned and one of them didn't, but because I wasn't running the recycle routes, because the recycle facility was also damaged in the storm, I had two extra drivers to throw at and make up for the stuff that we didn't cover on Saturday, right? Over the course of this past year, some of the things that we've been challenged with, just like how Steve alluded to, were the challenge of the pandemic and seeing the garbage volume in all my residential areas from New Roads to Donaldsonville increase, because now all of those people are now at home, right? And so now, usually on the first pickup day, it's usually we get a 95% set out rate, right? But then on the second pickup day, we usually would get maybe 50% of the same amount of material that we would get on the first pickup day. But now, ever since the pandemic, we're getting the same amount of trash that we would get on the first pickup day. And what that means for me, because one of the things that I used to have the luxury of, because all of my outer parish routes, because they're further away from Baton Rouge, they're smaller than the Baton Rouge route because of distance, right? And so on the second pickup day, for the past, let's say, year before COVID happened, right, I could always take trucks from Ascension and Sorrento and Addis and Bruley and Port Island and Irwinville on those second pickup days when the garbage is lighter, and make sure that every other area is clean no matter what happens. But now, because the garbage is so heavy, because all of those people are at home now, every route that I'm running every day is at max capacity. And if a wreck happens, the bridge get clogged up, the landfill goes down because we don't control the landfill because the weather, anything that happens, it throws off every route in my area because we are so far away from Baton Rouge in comparison to the Baton Rouge routes, right? So one of the things that I've incorporated, because now I'm actually running the residential system because my residential supervisor is out, is with this increase that's been happening over the past year, our corporate office has now allowed me to overhire 30 drivers to address the increase in garbage that we've now thought that was going to go down, but it didn't when folks started going to work. We now think this isn't the new normal, and that because folks are not going back to work as fast as what we thought they were, and now we got this new variant of COVID that now they allowed me last month to now hire 30 more drivers. They also sent me 10 more trucks. So now when I get all of those folks hired and I get those extra trucks, I will go back to having that same capacity that I had a year ago, to have that flexibility to reassign drivers in trucks in my area when the traffic builds up, the bridge goes out, an accident occurs, the landfill slows down, in which I didn't have that same flexibility over the past year because of everything that went on. Every day, and yes, I was here on Saturday and I was here on Sunday, and I've been here every day since last Tuesday. I ride the streets and I make sure, because when I don't have my regular drivers in their allotted area, I have to ensure that the replacement drivers know where to go and know what to cover. But that was one of the things that I was challenged with on last week because of the whole hurricane thing. So everybody can rest assured that I am putting my max effort to address the issues that y'all been faced with over the past year. And so we're dealing with this pandemic and the inconsistent service. And I think we're on the right path to getting those things corrected and getting us back to where we need to be. Last week, I think, was just another anomaly that hit us, and it hit us strong because we had so many of those personnel affected by the hurricane that I couldn't force or make come to work after they didn't have power. And so I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to face the music and say, yes, I understand, and I'm from the country and I'm a retired Marine, and I do believe that you should get what you pay for. And so I'm here, and I like the mayor because he chooses me out every time we don't do what we say we're gonna do, and he has me on speed dial now to give everyone my information, my email information, and if something happened the way it shouldn't be, that anybody in this room, any residents in the city of Port Island could call me and contact me, because yes, I did go to Avenue G to see our buddy who dumped the garbage on the City Hall doorstep, and I think we are in a good place now. So he also has my number as well.
Hey, I do have one question. It may, more volume equates to more stops, or like, Is it not that simple, or what
So
am I
what,
missing?
so what usually happens in every garbage route is designed to be about 10 hours and to dump 2 times. Now, y'all already know because of the traffic on both of those
Okay, that's what
things, right? With that 10 hours and my driver starting at 5 o'clock, that second dump and that second trip to finish that route usually happens at 3 o'clock. If now that garbage is heavier and it takes them more than those 2 trips, there's no way you're gonna get from here to the north landfill on Highway 61 over the old bridge or the new bridge and back here before 7 o'clock to get off, because they can't, by DOT regulation, they're not allowed to work over 14 hours in any given day. And they're also required to have 10 hours off from the time they clock out to the time they clock in the next day. So that's the other thing that I think everybody realizes and understands from that 3 o'clock point, trying to get over one of these bridges and trying to make it back. And it's just not possible to do with the restrictions that DOT allows. So that's why I think having the extra trucks and extra people to help us through this process, and hopefully when they find something to slow down this second barrier, maybe everybody can officially go back to work and we can see those residential volumes go down and the routes get back to those 2 loads for what we have now.
Now, when was that decision made to hire the extra workers? When was that decision made to hire the extra workers?
Last month. Yes, ma'am. And they sent us 10 trucks 2 months ago, but it takes anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks to train a new driver. Now, right, hiring them, getting them through the drug test background, getting them in, training them. Every driver has to train for 3 weeks before they can go on a route by themselves.
So, in other words, these trucks will not be on the road.
No, I already have 10 of those 30 drivers already in my facility. So I have 20 in the hiring process
Are they
right now.
covering the city of Port Allen?
4 of them are.
And that'll last as long as the volume stays up, or it's just temporary?
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate your explanation. That filled in a lot of gaps that I think we was missing out on.
I think Steve took enough of my body shots.
So right now, what would be, because I'm tired of it, excuse me, so I'm just saying, what would be your advice? I'm gonna let you talk to the people because they watch. So what is your advice to the people? What would you like to tell them? I'll just let you do that. What would you like to tell them to ensure them that this problem is gonna stop?
Be patient. They have the right person on the job. And one of the things that, again, we're doing right now, because everything, every week, every day is a new plan and a fluid thing to adjust for the conditions that we're in right now, right? Just like you said, like for this week, the recycling facility is closed. So now those recycle drivers are now running garbage routes to help with the increase in garbage right now, right?
Still no recycling.
Right, no recycling,
Okay.
right? So they're doing that, right? For the brush trucks, right, they're now only doing the bag trash, furniture, like not greenery items, right? So when they finish those routes, they're also assisting on the garbage routes as well. That's what I'm doing for this week until we get that recycling turned back on.
And you're gonna have maybe a little bit more oversight on the drivers working, making sure that they do their job properly. Like I said, just not picking up on certain streets and in certain parts of.
Oh, I missed that piece. So one of the things that happens, like I said, when I'm using, let's say I'm using a relief driver or a swing driver that's not from here and he's coming to assist this driver, one of the things that we like to do in the process is to say, I got one route and I'm gonna send help to that route. I have the normal driver start on this end, the other driver start on this end, right? And then they meet in the middle. Sometimes, depending on how much time this driver had, because this driver started before and on a different route, and that truck might fill up faster because it came from another route, it might stop short. And then this driver starts, and he gets to that two load, and sometimes there's that gap in the middle that this truck ran out of room and this truck ran out of the time, that we have that missing piece, right? One of the things that also happens is, let's say the routes are designed to go down one side of the street and another side of the street, right? So if the truck fills up and they went down the street, they'll go to the landfill and then they'll return and they'll come back to the same spot. But if it's now that second dump and they can't make it back, then that street, right, they did one side of the street, but they didn't do the other one because they didn't have time to come back. So that is sometimes what happens when you see, pieces of the route in the middle where something get missed, or they stop on one side of the street and the other street doesn't get done. But the drivers do know to mark when they get in where they left out and where they ended into dispatch, so that then the next day we can go right back to that same spot and start and finish that same thing. You understand?
And, correct me if I'm wrong, in the contract, y'all don't pick up storm-related debris.
Right, correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So we're contracting, we'll get a reimbursement out of FEMA with that? Are we applying for that?
Yeah, we have to apply with FEMA, and we'll get reimbursed. But they do have a contract that they can get with us to pick up that debris. We have to contract with Republic in order to do it. The Republic told me that it would be a week before that can happen, so I went on and got a contract so that it wouldn't be out, for an extended period of time.
Well, I think you gave a great explanation. I will say this, and I know we got people watching, the keyboard warriors are gonna hit it, but at the end of the day, these people are paying for a service, they deserve to get it, period. That's the way it is. But also at the end of the day, this city was very blessed that we didn't have the catastrophe that something like Homer or Hammond had. And that's the bigger picture. We could have been there. And it was only an act of God that we didn't. And I thank him for it. So in the big picture, I think we're good. But we still need to go, Mr. Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying anything different.
Right, and I understand that, and I was one of the fortunate ones to be in Zachary with everything buried in no trees.
And
So I was
I
one
know
of the 5%.
logistics are a nightmare. I deal with that every day, truck drivers coming in with deliveries and everything. We even had one that said, well, we thought everybody's power was out. Well, we weren't over here. So it's from Mississippi. I had to call them and say, no, bring it in. We're open. But, sometimes that's just miscommunication. But when you're talking about the increase in garbage, you have many people that are working from home still. And I can tell you from personal experience, I'm selling the devil out of washing machines and dryers because they are washing clothes more, drying them, everything. And that's just the nature of the beast. So all of that goes hand in hand. But I thank you for your explanation. You're giving it excellent. information as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
You're on a probationary period, as far as I'm concerned.
I got it, Councilman. Lacy, I'm on it. I understand.
Yeah, and the only thing I need to add is that, I appreciate the service that you have provided, because anytime I do call it, LC, you do answer your phone. And you do respond to, the complaints that I get when there's missed trash pickup. And the only way I know about it is when people call me, and then I go out and I send you a photo, and you take care of it. If it's not that day, it'll be the next day.
Right.
And what people have to understand is, until we are notified, we can't get anything done. But once it is relayed, then you and I have worked together on many instances, to get, to have that trash picked up. The other thing I want to address is the courts. I got 14, 15 damaged carts at the, we were supposed to exchange. I know the weather came in, if possible. I think I down to one cart left. If y'all can refurbish those, I would appreciate it.
I'm on it.
Other than that, the trash guy today did a pretty good job picking up the trash. He did have a few, I don't know if he ran out of time or what, but I got at least about 10 different locations. I'll send you the email that they had actual, I'm not talking about debris, I'm talking about trash that needs to be picked up throughout the city.
Okay, you'll send it to me.
Yeah.
'Cause I still have a truck in Sugar Mill.
Yeah.
So I have, and one of the, also, I forgot to mention, is I have my lead driver that operates in this area, and he starts at 6 o'clock to be my cleanup guy. So when catastrophes, the anomalies happen, he can go and clean up if it's a street or two or something here. And right now, he's in Sugar Mill, and he's working his way back to the yard as well. And so his 14 hours doesn't hit until 8 p.m. And so that's one of the other things that I've been doing to also cover when we have those anomalies.
Yeah, and we didn't hit on one thing, that was the white goods, and I only had one throughout the city that was left. And it's a huge refrigerator that's sitting in the curb, right on the curb on Sands Avenue.
Okay.
If y'all can take care of that. It's been out there for like 2 or 3 days now.
Okay.
And Oregon Street too.
Oregon, refrigerator?
No, they got furniture and stuff out.
Oh, they picked that up today.
Oh, they did? After 2?
Must be. You talking about around the corner?
Yeah, because I passed by 2.
On the corner?
Yeah.
It's picked up.
Okay. Yeah, because I passed by at 2 o'clock.
I think the boom truck didn't leave till about 4.
Okay, because I knew at 2 it was still out there.
Yeah, they picked it up.
Thank you.
That's all.
Oh, I burned Steve's phone up, so you get a rest from me. The mayor take care of you.
Yeah, the mayor don't take it easy on me.
Yeah, I'm ready, and I'm ready for you, me. So
All right.
I know, really, I'm glad that you stepped up, and you were very informational. And I think that's what's important. The people they want to hear, they want to know. And when we don't have anything to give them, it just puts us in a really, really bad spot.
Right. And that's one of the things that the mayor talked to me about this week, and that was one of the things that, I think from our standpoint, we can do a better job of communicating it out. Sometimes we get caught up in the day or in the crazy, and we assume that everybody knows or something is communicated out, or everybody just understands it. And that's what happens the majority of the time when the mayor sends me something, and I did the same thing to our buddy on Avenue G, and once I went to go talk to him, and I did, and he cheered up, and he's not a bad guy. He's just missing for him.
Y'all have a social media, or Twitter, Facebook, and then y'all leverage to communicate to the general population?
I don't do social media.
Yeah, but that might not be.
I'm a Marine, so
Yeah, not you.
I can't.
a way to reach out, like a public service announcement. Like, I know y'all not about to get broad, TV time or radio time, but social media is free as long as you got the internet.
You don't that sound familiar?
News time though.
What they do is they do give alerts to the parish,
What he said.
West Baton Rouge Parish, and they post it on Facebook. And a lot of times when the parish posts, I don't post because it's parish-wide. But
Yeah, that's where I get my information from the
Yeah.
parish, or either I call one of the parish or administrative. I still have that connection.
Oh, really? He was there.
all right, any other questions?
We just appreciate y'all improving on that pickup and whatever y'all do to improve that.
All right.
And before y'all leave, won't you mention about the separation of the piles so that people would understand?
Oh, yeah, and one of the things that we doing when we taking.
Thank you.
That's a mistake.
Is when we're picking up the trash bags, furniture, like trash items, right? And then the greenery and limbs and everything is being done by the contractor. So what the mayor was referring to is, like, we would like them, like, they don't need to be like separated and for a distance, but not be on top or in the middle, because if they're in the middle, then they won't get it. Put the greenery here and then the bags and the furniture and everything else on the side, so when we come by, we can just pick up that. The contractor can just pick up the greenery, and we can make sure that everything gets serviced smoother.
When did, maybe I missed it, recycling will be resumed?
So on Sunday, and I'm gonna give y'all the education too, is the recycling facility went out of power too. On Sunday at some time during the day or night, the power came back on. As soon as the power came back on, something malfunctioned, and we have material that was in the facility in some spot and caught a fire. And now they're in the process of repairing that what was burned and fixing the alarms and fire and things and everything else, and the recycling facility is not back up and running yet. They think it's going to be back up and running by either tomorrow or Friday. So we're expecting for recycling to continue to resume next week.
Next week.
Yes.
As soon as I get a definitive date, I'll let everybody know.
Okay, please.
Steve, you all right?
I'm fine. It's always good having him with me.
Back up there.
Well, I'm petite. Steve is the big guy, so he takes care of me.
We appreciate y'all's info.
All right.
We're just gonna get everything picked up.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you much.
All right, thank y'all. Agenda item 19, condemnation proceedings. Agenda item 20, alcoholic permits. Agenda item 21, announcements. The only announcements I have is that we will continue picking up the brush piles thanks to the parish. They'll allow us to use their facility to dispose of those branches. The only thing that we are picking up all branches and trees. We are not picking up the leaves or the bags. So as you just heard, Republic will pick up those bags. They didn't pick it up today, but hopefully they will pick it up Saturday. Other than that, anybody else have any announcements? No?
The West Side Bulldogs play their first game Saturday.
Home game?
Yes, in Port Allen Middle. I appreciate you show them some support. They reestablished their football team, their little league team, and they need the support from the community to continue, to continue going. so I appreciate if I see y'all faces in the place and show these young children, young athletes, some support.
All right. Thank you. And we want to talk about Port Allen booty.
Port Allen played Donaldson Field.
We won.
We'll just move on to the next game. They played
No,
Donaldson
they
Field Friday
had,
at home.
it was a good game. It was a hard-fought game until the
Yeah,
third.
it was a really
fourth
good
quarter.
game.
It was unfortunate we came out on the losing end, but those guys, they played a real good game.
22, 23, 12. Indians scored
22
that third
adjourn?
quarter.
Move.
I got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Deeb. Meeting adjourned.